Hey everybody, how are you all doing? This is Kirsten here. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a brand new episode of the Balanced Tribes podcast. All right, so what is going on? I hope you're all doing great. Today we're going to talk about the difference between a restrictive diet and educated lifestyle. Okay, actually, I saw this diet versus educated lifestyle first in Gabrielle Lyon's post on Instagram, where she worded it this way. She said, educated lifestyle is something else than a diet. And I really like this idea. And I wanted to tell you what it means to me and why I think that there's a big difference between a diet and then educated lifestyle. And what we should always choose, of course, is this second one, educated lifestyle. So first, when I learned about macronutrition, when I even found out about this thing, what it even is, I was in a very different mindset myself. So I had just overcome my years of hypothalamic amenorrhea. This is a mouthful, but basically it just means that you've lost your period because you are so overtrained, so undernourished, right? So I was dealing with this and I didn't have my periods for 10 years. You've heard this story probably many times. But then I overcame this by eating a lot more, letting go of all rules and all restrictions, letting go of training too, because that was at the time what I thought is the best thing to do. No regrets here. It was fine, right? I got over my hypothalamic amenorrhea, but I was very much in this mindset of now all diets are bad. Now all restrictions are bad. Everything that makes you count or track anything, it's bad. It's not intuitive enough. It's too controlling. It's too obsessive, yada, yada. So I had a very strong mindset like this. And I also viewed macronutrition like that. And I was like, oh my God, if I had to track these numbers or adjust my food according to these numbers, that would be such a headache. It's super obsessive. This is crazy. And I was almost angry at this thing. I was like, how dare they suggest something like this? This is too much. But I have since then obviously changed my mind about this thing, because once I tried this out and I saw it for myself, it was like, oh, this tracking and counting and becoming aware of your choices, what it does is that, yes, it helps you to get to this body composition that you desire. But what it does in the long run is that it teaches you the right lifestyle, right? So through tracking your macros, we'll get to this point of educated lifestyle. And now we can make choices, good choices that are healthy for us, that are going to help us to maintain our body composition. Now we can make these choices because we have learned a ton of stuff. And I think really tracking your macros, paying attention to your calories, learning what's in foods, reading labels, this is all part of your education. So if we don't have that education, it's really difficult to live a healthy lifestyle, because our modern lifestyle doesn't really support that. It doesn't support healthy living. When you look around, you see, how many fast food chains we have, how easily food is readily available everywhere you look, how many packaged foods there are, how many convenience foods there are. It's actually that you have to try, you have to put in the work and effort if you want to eat healthy. This is how it is these days. It's not like we're back in the day where we had to hunt our foods, and we would only hunt obviously natural foods, like you were, I don't know, kill a deer and get some fruits maybe off the tree. So there was no packaged foods. You didn't need a specific education. Hey, let's learn what's in foods. Hey, let's learn how it impacts your body. You just ate what is available because it came from nature. It was all right? It was good for you. But now these days life is different, and we really cannot only rely on this intuition, or oh, I just know intuitively what I feel, what my body likes, or oh, I feel like eating donuts, so I will. Sometimes of course you will, but if you let your intuition, that is not educated intuition, tell you what to do, you're very likely not to live a healthy lifestyle. And this is the really big thing here. And this is why I personally am really grateful for macronutrition and finding it and following it for as many years as I did, so that now I can live this educated lifestyle, right? And this is super different from a diet. And like I said, back in the day, I didn't see that. I was thinking that, oh, it's a diet, it's like another diet. How is that different? You're still, tracking, counting, thinking all the time. But a diet, like the way we know most other diets, are a whole different story. a typical diet comes with super hardcore restriction, right? And you don't get to eat a variety of foods. A diet typically tells you to leave out a number of things, right? Or forces you to eat only certain 5 things, or tells you to leave out one macronutrient completely, or tells you to only consume like certain shakes or salads or meals or bars or whatever the things, right? Or a diet could tell you to eat only once a day, that type of stuff is not leading you to an educated lifestyle, because you learn absolutely nothing from this thing. Well, maybe what you learn is that to not do it again, right? But you don't actually get to know your body in a way you do when you actually track your macros, learn about a healthy lifestyle. Because what useful did you actually learn if you got on this diet that consisted of bars and shakes that you paid like $600 for every month? You consume these things, you maybe consume 1,000 calories. What did you learn? And can you keep going? The answer is probably learn nothing, and no, I cannot keep going. So, what did we get out of it? Absolutely nothing, right? Nothing. So what could be another example of a diet like this? Well, I've heard things like, what is that? Like, what? Okay, this is way too ridiculous, but let's say like eggs only diet, or another food only diet. That type of stuff. Or, there's just so many extreme things, and you learn absolutely nothing from these diets. They don't help you to make better choices in the future. They don't help you to figure out what works for your body. They don't help you to understand how your body responds to certain things. It's nothing, right? It's just somebody came up with an idea, you follow it, and the only reason why it, quote unquote, works at first is because it took your calories down. And everything works that takes your calories down. Of course, you're going to lose weight, obviously, right? What else could happen? But it's not that there's something magical about this diet. Like, oh, look, I ate, this eggs only diet and I lost weight, therefore I'm going to continue doing it. Well, it's because you lost weight because you only ate eggs, and you probably didn't eat like the 2,000 calories worth of eggs every day. Or if you did this like bars and shakes diet, the reason why you lost weight was again because it was calorie restriction, right? That's all it was. It wasn't like, oh, these bars have some magical nutrients that boost my metabolism and burn my body fat. No, this is BS. This is not how it works. The only reason why you lost weight is that you ate a lot less than you ate before, right? So this is not sustainable, though. Nobody can live, well, maybe not nobody, some people can, but it's very difficult to live, and it's impossible to stay healthy if you only consume like 1,000 calories a day, you're physically active. This is just not how it works. So this is the difference between a diet and educated lifestyle. Educated lifestyle comes from trying different things, seeing, how does my body respond to this amount of protein? When I eat this type of carbs, how do I feel? You put pieces together, and this is how you actually create your own lifestyle diet. This is how you like to eat. And this is how macros are really, really important and helpful. They give you a framework, and you get to choose what you put in there. So this is why I don't like meal plans at all, because if somebody gives you a meal plan that consists of things that you absolutely don't enjoy at all, you're probably not going to like this, and you're not going to stick with this, and you're not going to get a result. And then you're going to get mad at yourself. You call yourself a failure. You call yourself, I never followed through. But the problem wasn't in you. The problem was in the diet, right? Now, if we choose the educated lifestyle route and we track our macros for a little while, then maybe your coach will tell you that, hey, we're going to eat 150 grams of protein and this many carbs. Then you figure out how you want to eat so that you meet these numbers, right? So I'm not going to tell you to eat like plain chicken breast and tilapia. Maybe you don't like these things. Maybe you like red meat. Then you're going to get your protein from red meat. Maybe you like cottage cheese, but you don't like yogurt. Well, then you can eat your cottage cheese. So you design your own thing, right? And you just have to meet these numbers, fit these numbers. And this is how you start figuring out what your body likes, how it responds, and so on. So if you listen to the interview that I did with Carolyn Montbaron, she said that she now knows, after tracking for so many years, I think we worked together over 2 years, she doesn't track anymore, but she knows what her body needs. And if she hasn't eaten according to this, she'll notice it. She just feels like, oh, I'm kind of hungrier, or my workout wasn't quite as good, or didn't feel quite as energized. Oh, I guess I haven't had really good quality carbs today. So, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I just can go back and see what I ate today, put, the dots together and like, okay, I think I could have had more carbs. I'll do that tomorrow. So this is really what it teaches you and how it should be. And this is how I live my life too. I'm a macro coach, but I don't track my macros every day. I'm in this phase where I've done this for so many years. I know very well how this works. I work with people every day. I help them with this every day. But right now, I don't track my own macros because I did it for a long time. I am at maintenance. I don't have any specific physique goals, weight loss goals right now. I don't have that. So therefore, I'm eating intuitively using this skill of educated lifestyle, right, that I have learned over the many years that I did track my macros. All right, so what are then parts of this educated lifestyle, right? We forget about the diets, we're done with that. Now, what are the things that really help us, like the way we eat, the way we move, the way we train, that become our lifestyle? So I want to kind of give you a couple of things here to think about and implement. So part of a really healthy and educated lifestyle is to eat breakfast. It will help you in so many ways. Now, I will say there are always people who say that intermittent fasting works great for me, and there's a bunch of men who say that, but men and women are really different. I know that some men just, they don't even think about food in the morning, but there's some women maybe like that too. What I don't like is this forceful intermittent fasting, waiting till noon. So I highly recommend that you eat breakfast. And there are so many reasons for that. The first one is that this is the way to meet your protein goal for the day. Remember, protein is very important to have. And if you don't have breakfast and your goal is to eat 140 grams of protein per day, how are you going to get that with only lunch and dinner? It's going to be super difficult. And I see it sometimes with my clients too. Let's say it's weekend and they slept in and they missed their first meal. It's going to be hard. So you have to be on top of that game and make sure that you eat breakfast so that you don't have to play catch up all day long. The second reason why breakfast really should be part of your lifestyle is that you're going to have better blood sugar balance, and your blood sugar has such a strong impact on your hormones overall. So many women are complaining about hormonal imbalances, this and that, your cortisol is high, progesterone is low. And okay, why is it? One big thing is that the blood sugar is on the roller coaster. And why is it? A lot of times because we're not eating breakfast. So if you eat breakfast, you are helping to reduce stress. You are going to give your adrenal glands a little breather, because our adrenal glands are the ones that are pumping out the cortisol and make you feel like anxious, fast, high energy state, kind of hypervigilant. This is your cortisol, and this is coming from your adrenals. So if you want to calm your system down, you got to start your day with some breakfast. The other thing, when we talk about hormones, is progesterone. So many women struggle with low progesterone, so they have all sorts of menstrual cycle issues. The luteal phase, for example, is really short. Sometimes it's like 4 or 5 days or something like that. Luteal phase is the period from your ovulation till the beginning of your period. So it should be 14 days. Okay, 12 is fine, 13 fine, but 14 is ideal. Now, if it is like less than 11, then probably something stressful is going on and your progesterone is low. So this is one issue. You may have more when your progesterone is really low, your estrogen might be overpowering, even if your estrogen is low too. If your estrogen is just a lot higher than your progesterone, you're going to have the symptoms. You're going to have the PMS, you're going to have the mood swings, you're going to have a hard time settling down, resting, sore breasts, things like that. All these are signs of hormonal imbalance. And so when we now talk about your progesterone being low, guess why this is low? One of the reasons is that your cortisol is the priority. So cortisol and your progesterone are made from the same hormone. And when the body senses that there's stress, and one of the stressors is not eating enough and not eating breakfast, it makes the choice to create more cortisol and less progesterone, right? And that's why we're talking about, my cortisol is so high. What am I doing wrong? I'm fasting and everything. Well, that's what you're probably doing wrong. Start eating breakfast. And this is going to make your adrenal glands a lot better, a lot more relaxed. Your cortisol will likely come back to balance. Your progesterone come back to balance. Your cortisol will very likely lower. So it is important. Give yourself some breakfast. Have some high protein breakfast. You're going to see how things will get better. Okay, when you eat your breakfast, you also make better choices all day long. Absolutely see this every single day with my clients too. You just have less cravings, less hunger throughout the day, or your hunger is more normal. It's not like, oh, it's just like 3 p.m. and I was hit with this intense carb and sugar and coffee craving. These things will go down if you eat breakfast and if you eat a good amount of protein with it. And also your workouts will be just better if you eat breakfast, because a lot of people, they do work out in the morning, and it doesn't have to be huge, because I understand if you work out at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., then you don't want to eat like a big plate of eggs and bacon necessarily in the morning, but have something. Have something, and that's going to give you better blood sugar balance, and it will also give you more energy for your workout. So make sure to add some carbs and protein before and after your workouts. Okay, so what else is part of your educated lifestyle when it comes to your diet? It is to eat fairly frequently. So don't leave super long stretches between your meals. We don't want to do like 6 hours, 8 hours, something like that. Eat every 3 to 4 hours. Again, it's easier to meet your protein goal, and it is easier to keep your blood sugar stable as well. So this is definitely my recommendation. Don't go super long between your meals. And again, the same thing, the cortisol response, the stress response will go up if you wait too long. And also you're going to make worse choices if you wait too long and then you get home and you're like starving, and maybe you're going to grab a couple glasses of wine, and maybe you're going to eat like some whatever you found in your cabinets, not the best choice. And then you just keep going back all the time. You got to eat regularly. And sometimes I hear people like, I was so busy all day long. I was running around. I was like putting out fires all the time. I didn't have the time to sit down and eat. And then I asked, like, okay, what was going on? Like, what is such a big deal that you have to like run around and, be everywhere and do all the things? And they could be something like, oh, my fridge broke and I had to buy a new one. Okay, yeah, it's a real problem, right? You got to keep your food somewhere. Is it really so big that you have to run around like 8 hours and you don't have time to sit down for 15 minutes to eat a meal? Like, is it really? And of course, sometimes it is. Sometimes I hear things like, hey, a family member, had some kind of trauma or some kind of injury happened to them. We had to go to the hospital. I was so stressed I didn't even think about food. Of course, this is life, sadly. This happens. I understand that. But if we're talking about like driving around buying the fridge, then I think you should be able to find 15 minutes to sit down and eat. Okay. Think about your health. You want to maintain a good blood sugar balance. Okay. The next thing that is important and that you learn when you follow macros and do it regularly, you learn that you got to eat your protein and vegetables first, right? Again, blood sugar balance, this is a big deal, but also satiety and fullness. If you eat your protein first and vegetables first, you're going to be more satiated and you're just going to want less of the other things. So you're just filling yourself up, essentially. Protein is really great for that. It doesn't really matter if you start from protein or vegetables. There's some people argue about it. I think it's just like splitting hairs. I don't think it's that important. Just eat those two first, right? Just eat those two first. All right. Then another thing that you learn and hopefully make a lifestyle is to eat carbs before and after your workouts. Most people know that protein is important before and after. Yeah, that is true, but so are carbs. So have them before and after your workouts to first give your body the energy, right? And it's going to like spike your blood sugar a little bit. You're going to use that spike. You're going to do a workout. You're going to feel really good. And then when you come back, you want to replenish. So before and after your workouts, eat your carbohydrates always. Now, another thing about educated lifestyle, and I think most people who track macros know that these two things go together, is lifting weights, right? I know you're all super surprised that I'm saying this, but it is very, very important, and also taking your walks. So these two things have to be part of your life regularly. And it's not a 1 month project. It's not like, oh, we do this, it's like a 21-day shred or summer shred or I don't know, fat meltdown, whatever the thing is. It's not like that. This is lifestyle thing. So I want you to start lifting weights, or if you are not ready to lift weights, start with body weight, do some sort of resistance training. So if you're not ready to work with, let's say, dumbbells or barbells, you can use body weight. You can use another one that's really simple and really effective tool is TRX, right? The suspension trainer. They're so many videos that you can look up how to do certain exercises. And then just, walking. That's another thing. Movement has to be part of your life. If it isn't, we have to make it part of our lives. It is really big part of your health. And it is, again, a lifestyle thing. It can't be like I walk 3 months every day, a little bit. It has to be what you do always. Okay. And then the last thing that is so crucial part of your educated lifestyle too is downtime, rest, limiting distractions, putting the phone down, just like giving yourself some space to just be and rest, and taking that rest as seriously as you take your workouts and food. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to that. A lot of people are nonstop on from early morning, like 6 a.m. till sometimes midnight on their phones, on their computers. And of course, like the lifestyle we have right now, unless you live somewhere like super remotely and your work is not on the internet and you don't have to do these things, cool. That's very, very good. A lot of us cannot do that. A lot of us will have to be like plugged in often, but limit it. You have to limit it, because I can tell you firsthand, like I feel a big difference when I get off the social media, just like I did last weekend. On Friday night, I deleted the app. I put it back on Monday morning. I was away the whole weekend, and it was really good. It was really good. It's like you are almost like living more. You are talking to real people, doing real life things, paying attention more, being in the moment. And I didn't notice, like there's several times when, for example, on a Saturday, I took a really long nap. It was so beautiful, so good. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, let's see what's new on Instagram. Oh, wait, I don't have Instagram now. All right, cool. What do I do then? Well, I'm going to lay here for 15 more minutes and just like, think about things or relax my body or visualize something beautiful. Things like that. We also, like this weekend, got this idea to go out to see some stars. It was really awesome. So in stargazing, it's like only 30 minutes outside of Phoenix. It's like pitch black in some areas. So we just like drove out there, just stayed in nature for a little bit, looked outside. It's like super magical. You never get this from social media. Absolutely never. It's impossible to get that same emotion and feelings that you get from being in real nature, doing things with real people, talking to them. Another thing that was really cool this weekend was that I did a small group cold plunge here in Phoenix, and we had some amazing conversations, and the phones were not involved in this at all. So maybe start thinking, how can you reduce that also for you? And this is something that I think it has to become a must. Somebody said it really well. They said that social media is probably like fast food. Like you consume it at first, it's good, but then if you keep consuming it like day after day for years, it's kind of, you're going to see the impacts of it. And I'm noticing some of it in myself too. So that's why I'm saying that as much as possible, unless it's your job, unless you have to absolutely be there all the time, take some time off. Don't go there all the time. And somebody asked me when I shared on Instagram, it's ironic, right? I shared on Instagram that I took 2 days off from Instagram and I deleted the app, but that's what I did. So I shared that, and she asked, oh, can you just delete the app and not lose all the data and everything you've posted? Yeah, that's true. So you can delete the app, and then next time when you go back to your app store and reinstall it, everything is there. You don't lose anything. Because I know that there's a difference between like, oh, I'm going to tell myself that I'm not going to go to Instagram. You're going to go there. You know it, right? You just have to eliminate this stuff. It's like you have to set a barrier between you and the thing. And that's how you do it. You just delete the freaking app. So that's what I did. So these are the things that I think will be part of your educated lifestyle, right? The things that you have to do, the things that you're going to do forever if you want to stay healthy. And there's some dietary things that I told you about. There's movement things, there's downtime, social media things. Take all these into account and see what kind of changes you can make in your life. All right. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'll talk to you again in the next episode. Take care.